Well, that's what Lord Wolfson is asking. I mean, that's the whole point of what he's trying to do, and get people to have this conversation and start and figure out how it can happen in an orderly fashion. He's concerned that if it doesn't happen in an orderly fashion, it could create great chaos. It's a £250,000 prize that he's offering to anybody that can come up with this kind of a plan. That equals about 286,000 euros. So it's quite a hefty prize, and he is concerned that if it doesn't happen the right way, we could really be in for chaos. Take a listen.
The worst scenario is that we have an international banking failure. And let me just sort of talk through the stages from homeowner to multinational bank. Let's say you've got someone in a country that falls out of the euro, and their wages are redenominated in new currency, and that devalues against the euro. The question then comes, how do they pay their mortgage back? Because their mortgage was given to them in euros. If you say, well, their mortgage goes into the new currency, it's not a problem for the mortgage payer, but then the bank that owns the mortgage suddenly has got an asset that's devalued 30%. If that happens to too many banks, we could end up undermining the financial stability of the banking system. And an event like that would make Lehman's look like a small garden party.
So what he's talking about is potentially if Greece were to exit from the, then it would go back to its new drachma, right? And then, so people would be paid in wages in drachmas, but yet they might have, for instance, a mortgage from a Spanish bank that would have to be paid in euros. How's that going to work? How would that affect some of the banks? So that's what the main concern is how it will have a ringing effect against all the banks in the Eurozone. So it's an unprecedented thing that he's asking for, but 200 economists are going to get a packet that is offering them a certain criteria that they have to meet, and one person will walk away with £250,000.
I've got to say, just shy of $300,000 pales in comparison to the kind of 2.3 trillion, 2.8 trillion that we're talking about to try and ring-fence the Greek problem. He seems to be broadening things out significantly, because before we were only talking about potentially Greece exiting the euro to save the rest of the bloc.
Right. I mean, there are a number of different scenarios out there, but this is like the big elephant in the room. I mean, we don't see Angela Merkel or Nicolas Sarkozy talking about this. On the other hand, Papandreou has absolutely said that Greece will stay in the euro. So we're trying to figure out, how is this actually going to work? I mean, that rule book hasn't been written yet. This is part of one of the things that has to be in place in order for these countries to stay in the Eurozone. So if Greece exits, what does that mean for some of the other countries? Could we see a few of them do that? And one of the scenarios out there is that some of the northern European countries, along with Germany, could exit and then allow those things to fall into place, which would be quite an interesting one.
Yeah, we'd also see a run on the banks in Greece, wouldn't we, if, of course, Greece decided to leave. And we should stress to our viewers, shouldn't we, Felicia, that we have no game plan for this, because the treaties in the European Union don't actually provide for a default or an exit of the Eurozone. Many thanks for that. Felicia Taylor joining us there.